Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming in today. We are so excited to have our speaker for the EEE. His name is Conner Khodabande.
Khodabande.
Khodabande, such a cool last name. And Conner has been involved in the childcare industry for his whole life. Growing up in a household that founded and operated 4 successful preschools, he went on to study finance after he had worked in the food manufacturing. After a few years, he realized that his passion he has for providing childcare services to families in San Diego, and is excited to expanding quality services and building communities in the San Diego area. And here he is. I give you Conner.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. So thank you for being here on a Wednesday night. I'm here to present on entrepreneurial decision-making in childcare. Again, yeah, just like she said, my name's Conner Khodabande. I'm the CFO of Kids Care Club. And yeah.
Actually, Conner, are you sharing your slides? Or you're sharing your screen?
Not. I was just throwing it in the back. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
And then on the bottom, the green. There it is.
There we go.
Perfect.
Bing, bang, boom. There we go.
No, the bar.
Full screen.
We can move that to the bottom.
There we go. Slide. Where are we at? View, slideshow. Yeah. So yeah, just to build off of that introduction, we're going to be going over KCC history and mission. Then we'll go over elements of a business plan, critical things to understand, and then we'll be going over some resources that I use day to day to guide decision making, and things that you guys can use as well as you guys look to what kind of childcare business you would like to start. So Kids Care Club was founded in 1994 by my parents. They had originally worked in the defense industry, and my mom was a logistics engineer. My dad was working in quality assurance, and as they were looking to start a family, they were looking around saying, hey, where's a preschool? Where can we trust a place that is going to be able to raise our kids the way that we want them to and know that they're safe? And they couldn't really find a place that they really liked. And so they decided, hey, why not us? Why not do it? And the big kick in the butt that happened was that they both ended up getting laid off. And so they were like, all right, well, it's time to get started. Let's do it. And so since then, they've served thousands of families over those 29 years. Some of those teachers have been with us for 20 plus years. My parents still run into people in Costco and local other areas and see kids that have grown up to go to college and have been full-fledged adults now for years, and they say, do you remember me? And so they've been really enjoyed being a part of the community. They open up 4 child development centers throughout San Diego and Temecula. Currently, we're operating 2, one in Forest Ranch, one in Rancho Penasquitos. And they originally started off as drop-in care. And as me and my brother got older, it kind of evolved. So originally it was drop-in care. So I remember being just 4 and 5 years old, running around on Friday and Saturday nights with both my parents and all my friends, because we were all getting to spend every weekend at Kids Care Club. And it was a party that it was just amazing. But as we got older, it turned into after school care when me and my brother were going into elementary school. And then as we got into middle school and were able to watch over ourselves and stray a little further away from the nest, my parents kind of responded to the need in the community and changed the 2 schools that they had been operating into preschools. So just like Kyoka had said, I remember when I was 5 and 6 being at the schools. And as I got older, mopping the floors with my dad, to learning and kind of hearing about my parents' perspective on how they were running their business and kind of bouncing ideas off of me in high school. How would you feel if someone did this? Or how would you feel in this situation? After which were all very valuable. And then after which I went to school in Maryland. I had been working and got a degree in finance, then started working in food manufacturing, and really kind of was looking for something that, you know, was going to scratch a deeper itch for me, something that was going to be more based in the community. And that all coincided with COVID. So our preschools had always had 100% capacity, wait lists for years. And during COVID, we went from serving 250 kids a year to down to 20. And so basically we had to rebuild the entire business all the way back up. And as my parents were getting older, they're getting a little bit closer to retirement. They were really looking for help as we were building it up again. And it was a perfect opportunity for me to jump in and learn all of the things in the past 3 years that I hope to share with you guys today. Throughout this presentation, a lot of this is more geared towards anything that's going to be childcare based, or any kind of business that you would really want to start. So if you have any questions about specifics, or you have an application for an idea that you might have, whether that's a childcare center or a childcare in a house, or if you want to do after school care or anything specific, or art class or anything that you can think of, feel free to enter a question in the chat box and raise your hand, and then we can answer it as we go. So, I mean, the elements of a business plan are really going to be the blueprint for everything that you do as an entrepreneur. And that starts all the way at the beginning at the company description. I mean, this is your mission statement. This is everything that's going to be what you guys decide every single day. It's going to guide decision-making as you grow and you get, and you're having employees. They're going to have to make decisions that you're not going to touch. People aren't going to ask you everything that they do every single day of what they should be doing. They're going to need that guiding light so that they can make the decisions that you would want them to make. And that really kind of starts at the very beginning with the company description. But before you even hire anyone, you're going to have to decide what you're going to do, where you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. And that starts off with marketing, research, and analysis. I mean, each of these portions of the elements of a business plan could each be their own class, but marketing, research, and analysis where it really kind of gets started. Who are you going to be serving? Who are you going to be serving in this service industry? Who are you going to be working with? Who are the employees that you're going to be pulling from? Where do they live? How much are you going to pay them? How much are your competitors going to be charging for their service? There's a lot of different things that are going to be dictated by the people that are around you and kind of fitting in with them. And then from there, you can begin to differentiate yourself. So next up would be your marketing plan. How are parents going to find us? How are they going to know that we even exist? How, like, are we going to do ads? Are we going to do word of mouth? A lot of things like that. And then you're going to have an operations plan. What are your policies? What's your employee handbook? What's your parent handbook? What happens if a kid hits their head? Kids are kids. They're going to get injured. They're going to run into each other. They're going to get sick. People are going to get sick. How are you going to handle those different kinds of situations that happen day to day? And yeah, management of personnel. How are you going to hire your teachers? How much are you going to pay them? How are you going to treat them? What kind of benefits are you going to provide? Those are all key things that you're going to want to have figured out as you're reaching out, putting job postings out, things like that. Financial plan. How are you going to finance this? Who is like the lifeblood of a business is money. How are you going to be able to pay your teachers? How much are you going to charge families for the service that you're providing? How much are you going to pay in a lease? What kind of things are going to be really important to you? How much are you going to be able to afford in materials for the classes right away? How much are you going to be able to afford for classes down the road? What purchases do you need today versus things that you can kick down the path a little bit and be able to do later on? And then implementation schedule. Are you going to start off with a smaller school? Are you going to start at, if you're starting a school, are you going to start at 60% capacities? Are you going to start at 80% capacity so your teachers can get settled, so that your administrators can kind of get used to the role of things? And then are you going to build up? How are you going to kind of implement all those things? If you're going to be if you're going to be starting a new business in a building, how are you going to be able to build out that building to suit your needs? When is that going to happen? Are you going to have a general contractor in there? Are you going to handle a lot of it yourself? When is those timelines going to work? How are you going to stick to those timelines? so that when you do start selling and you start enrolling people or start to market your service, how are you going to make sure that all those schedules and deadlines are all cohesive and they all get met? So marketing research and analysis, I would say location, location, location. One of the first things, if you look to the left, there is a map of San Diego. So this map is a childcare desert. A childcare desert is anywhere that does not have if there's more than 2 kids per 1 seat of childcare, then it's going to be in a gradient of orange. The more orange, the more desert. So just by looking at the map of overall San Diego, there's a lot of need. There's a lot of need for childcare. There's a lot of need for a lot of different ways that you can service that need. I mean, you can have karate classes. You can have a lot of different classes. But also what's really neat about this map is when you select into it, is it's going to show you within that census tract, how many kids under the age of 5 are there? How many other providers are there within that census tract? How much money do the parents make, so that you know, okay, if I'm going to be doing a privately funded preschool, this is how much people are making. That's going to be able to answer how much you can charge. If you are going to, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of information there that's going to be able to help you out. Location is going to be your number 1. And then there's the preschool for all and your competitors. It's also going to show all of your competitors, all the other childcare programs that are around, and what their licensing capacity is, how close are they to you? And then you can start to see, oh, okay, what kind of services are they offering? Are they Montessori? Are they play-based? Are they some kind of mix of both? Are they something different? And then from there, you can say, okay, what do I want my school to be like? How do I want to differentiate my program from theirs? And then preschool for all, there's going to be a big initiative that has already started for every kid to have preschool. And a lot of those kids are going to be on the federal or the state level, and that's all going to be at elementary schools. So you're going to want to be, if I'm going to be competing against elementary schools as well, okay, so how close am I to them? Where are they? Where are people going to be working and moving, going to work? And then I can position myself to be a place that maybe isn't being served by an elementary school. Maybe it's a new community that doesn't have enough elementary schools, or they don't have the capacity at those elementary schools to be able to serve those communities. And then marketing. I know the rec center is going to have a bunch of wonderful resources. There's great resources here, and you're going to be able to build a website. But the thing that I wanted to highlight is these are our monthly sessions. And the highlight that I wanted to bring was that half of them are on a desktop and half of them are on a mobile. So it's incredibly important that whenever you're creating your online presence, that you're not worrying about just desktop or just mobile. It's really going to be both of them. And then your SEO, if people are Googling around and saying, hey, I want to look for childcare around me, you're going to want all your information going to be the same. If you're on your Google My Business, on your website, on Yelp, any other kind of service provider or marketplace you're going to want to be, everything has to be the same. So the critical things to understand in your decision-making in the day-to-day. So your model, your financial model is going to be how you are able to stay in business. And that includes sticking to your numbers. I mean, your number one cost every year is going to be your teachers. And so you want to be confident in your numbers so that when you are offering jobs and you are offering people a place to work, that you're not overstretching yourself, so that, oh, if I've agreed to a lease that is going to cost me more than what it should, then where is the rest of that money going to be able to go? You don't want to go under, and then all these people that you've hired and you've trained and you've spent all this time working with, now you can't afford to be paying your lease payments, and you have to close up shop. So really being confident in your numbers, being conservative, and sticking to them is going to help you out in the long run, because you can always go up, as far as what you spend on materials. You can always go up on what you spend in the classroom, whatever you're doing to make your business work. But those hard numbers, how much you're paying your teachers, how much you're paying for your lease payments, those are the things that are going to be, you're not going to be able to just move. You can't cut those costs as easily. And probably the number one thing when you're looking for a location is leasing. You're going to really want to work with a quality property broker to find that location that's going to fit your needs. And that's going to work. And if you have a quality property broker, they're going to be able to help you out in a lot of different ways. They're going to help you understand all the lease pitfalls, things that you might not understand. Then they'll be able to help guide you through it. If a landlord is trying to fit different terms into your lease that aren't fair or aren't market rate, then that quality property broker is going to be able to explain that to you. And I mean, if they can't explain it to you, you shouldn't be working with them. Those terms need to be working within your budget. If you look at restaurants go in and out all the time. But if you're looking at a restaurant's lease space, those rents can be upwards to $600,000 to $700,000 a year, which is, I mean, if you're selling $15, $20 meals, you're gonna have to sell a lot of meals to cover just those costs, and then being able to pay your workers. Those terms need to be working within your budget. And it's hard to find those places. So you got to be patient, but you also have to be flexible. If you find something, really work through it. If you go all the way to the process, it might not work out that time, but everything you learn each time you get close to signing a place is going to be incredibly important, and things you can take on to the next one. But the number one thing that you have to understand is the personal guarantee. As you're starting a business, every landlord is going to make you sign a personal guarantee. And in the next slide, we'll talk about corporations and being able to protect yourself from lawsuits. The personal guarantee from your landlord is going to be what strips all those protections away. Signing a personal guarantee is basically making you personally liable for everything regarding costs for that building. If you sign a 10-year lease and your business goes under, you're going to have to go personally bankrupt. And so you have to be very, very confident and very, very sure that the lease terms that you're signing are that you're going to be able to make it work. Hence, be confident, be conservative, but also being confident means I can take this lease. I got this. I hired a good team. I can hire people around me. I know exactly what I'm going for. I know the people around me need it. I can do this. And then it should work out. I mean, as long as you really harp your numbers, you know exactly what you're doing, and you're flexible, you know, there's going to be mistakes that you make, but just understand the gravity of having a personal guarantee being a part of that lease. And so the other part of the critical things to understand is your corporate structure. So this is going to protect you from lawsuits. That's whether you're an LLC, or you're an S Corp or a C Corp, and those things can change over time. And that's really going to be determined on what you need from them. So I remember at the beginning of Kids Care Club, it was a sole proprietorship that my parents had. Then it turned into an S Corp, then into a C Corp, and then back into an S Corp. And so you can talk with the CPA, that they'll be really able to advise you on what corporate structure would be best for you at that time. But having some kind of corporate structure, even if it's just an LLC, will be able to protect you from lawsuits should anything happen at the school. And when those unforeseen situations happen, that's why you have insurance, liability insurance, umbrella insurance, workman's comp. If a teacher falls and something happens, or one of your employees, something happens to them in the while they're working, those are all portions that happen. Those are all covered by workman's comp. And also why you have liability insurance, so that no matter what happens, everything will be able to be paid for. So then the resources to guide decision-making. So the Small Business Development Centers is another great resource alongside REC. They can provide webinars, one-on-one coaching as well. That's what I went to when I first started working at Kids Care Club, just so I could understand everything. I mean, a lot of the things that I've learned, it kind of felt like swallowing an egg is what I always used to say. And so they really break it down, and you can really review it as much time as possible. And then you can take those questions from what you learned here to the rec, or you can go over and schedule one-on-one time with their department as well. The more resources that you have is really just going to help you in the future. And then the childcare desert site. So it's childcaredeserts.org, and you can go in and you can play around. I mean, that map shows everything all over California. You can see from the whole state. I mean, this is why also the state put so much effort behind making preschool for all. There's such a huge amount of need. And then personal experiences. I mean, the people that you've worked with in the past, your strengths and your weaknesses, who are the people that you work best with? If you heard something from a boss that you didn't like how they approached the situation, you don't like the constructive feedback that they gave you, that's stuff that you can really carry with you as you become a boss, as you become an employer, and you're trying to get the best out of your employees. What's the best way that that person can respond to you? And then remembering, as you're about to go into those conversations, I remember when it's like you have to remember how that felt when someone gave you critical feedback, and how did you respond to that? How was their tone work with you? How do you think that the person that you're employing, how is that going to work with them? And really being able to cater to them. Professors and mentors, people really want to help you succeed. People love seeing people succeed. If you, I always say among my friends, it's like there's plenty of room at the top, but if we all get there together, then we all get to enjoy it. And if you go into a meeting with a mentor or a professor or someone from the SBDC or from REC, then you can say, hey, I've done this research, this specific research, and now I've come up with this specific question. I'm not on step 1 anymore. I'm on step 7. Then people would be more than happy. I think you'll find this is more people are very, very happy to help you and get you from step 7 all the way to step 15. But people don't like when you go step 1. Hey, can you explain everything to me? Can you explain everything to me? I don't know. I haven't done any of my own research. You have to go into those meetings knowing a little bit yourself. And then failing forward, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, I've been with Kids Care Club for 2 years, and before that, I was with food manufacturer for 8 years. And everyone makes mistakes, and it's more about not beating yourself up and being able to say, hey, this is the lesson that I learned, and I'll take that into the next situation. And so when this happens again, I'll know exactly what to do. And your employees are going to make mistakes too, and allowing them to grow from those mistakes and saying, hey, you know what, that's okay, but next time let's do X, Y, or Z, and and then you guys can all grow together. And then over the next couple of years, you might have 5 preschools, or you might have a lot of different things. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can put them in the chat box. This is my contact information and our careers page as well. So if you guys are looking to, join a preschool, then I'd be more than happy to put you guys in the right direction. Thank you.
I think we have a couple of questions here. The data that you had about the desert, the map one on there. They said, where did you find this data?
For sure. So that is in.
You can press here.
So that's childcaredeserts.org. If you just look up childcare deserts, that's all been compiled by, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, you can go through and you can go through by each census tract. So you'd be able to see, you can go through all of San Diego. And the ones that I just selected was this census tract right over here in Mira Mesa. And then I took a screenshot of just the greater San Diego area.
Thank you. And another one is, which insurance company do you refer?
So I work with NEK Insurance, and so they provide our liability insurance as well as our workman's comp.
Thank you. Any other questions for Conner? You can raise your hand or you can put them in the chat. Questions?
Yeah.
What is something that you wish you knew in the beginning? Like
What is something that I wish I knew in the beginning?
Like a pitfall or something that you could save people, save like a lot of time or like headache or.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, really, I would say trusting the people that are around you, trusting the people that you hired. I mean, I was really lucky. The people that have been working at Kids Care Club, and a lot of them have been working there for 15, 20 plus years. But even then, I'm such a busy bee doer that I'll go from task to task to task to task to task, instead of saying, okay, you know what? If we're going to be doing like our lead testing, I don't need to go and wake up right at the crack of dawn just to go to the school, do the whole walkthrough. Like there's different tasks that you can pass off to your directors or other people that are going to be working in those places that day, and like trust the people that are around you to also get their jobs done.
We have another one. What background do you need to start your own preschool, and what are your credentials that you need?
For sure. So it's listed online what your director credentials are going to be in Title 22. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head what they have to be, but it's all listed online.
Do you have an operations manual?
We have an employee handbook. And then we have a lot of we have like a policy handbook of how we handle a bunch of different situations. So, I mean, it goes anywhere from emails to people, so like our onboarding, our touring manuals. So we have manuals for people that are going to start touring our preschools, the people that are going to lead tours. We have manuals for sending out bill payments. We have manuals for, I mean, just about everything that happens. Yeah.
Do you use an HR management software?
So yes, our HR management software is provided to us by our our healthcare provider. So we use HR manual. What's it called? HR Connect. I can include it in the resources that we'll send afterwards. But they're really helpful. I mean, all the pitfalls that you'll fall into. I mean, we were just looking over our employee handbook recently because we were updating some staff conduct in it, and then we were including our 401k benefit, and then including our education benefit in it as well. And so we were trying to decide whether we were supposed to include our life insurance as well as our dental and vision. So they're really helpful in being able to say, hey, this is what is needed, this is what's not needed. And then especially once you hit over the 50 employee mark, there's a whole slew of regulations that you have to start following that you didn't have to follow beforehand. And so, yeah, having an HR management like software is really, really helpful.
What do you do for marketing and recruiting new students?
For sure. Yeah. So for marketing, we just rebranded our entire website about a year and a half ago. That was one of the first projects that I took on, and we hired an outside company to come in, redo it. As far as what we do for our marketing, we have my brother is actually basically the head of our marketing. He writes all of our blogs, make sure everything's SEO optimized. And then we put a lot of money into backlinks. So backlinks is basically what you go out to refer. You pay for backlinks by saying so the way Google looks at it is they'll say, hey, Kids Care Club is referenced on all these other websites, and all of those other websites have a high ranking of authority for childcare or whatever the search terms are going to be. And so so you set up those mutual links. It hires up their profile, hires up your profile, and then that helps your organic traffic. And then so going into this summer, we'll know what our numbers are going to be for re-enrollment at the end of this month, as far as what families are going to stay and what families are going to be going, whether they're graduating or they're moving or what have you. And then that'll help us put what our ad budget's going to be for paid ads. But at the very beginning, what's most important about location is also being able to put up signage. So if you're on a standalone building, then you're going to be able to put up a big sign as people drive by, especially if you're by a busy road, that says, hey, Kids Care Club is right here. We're a child care provider. We're enrolling. If you're kind of tucked away, then you want to put that into your lease. Hey, I want this type of signage at these different kinds of places, or at the entrance of this parking lot, I want a bigger sign, just so that people see it. And then that's not an ongoing cost. But paid ads can go upwards to like $10 a click. So it can get expensive quickly. I mean, that's if you convert on, say your ad budget's $1,000, you have 100 clicks, $10 a click, you convert on 50% of those. 50% of those people become people in your preschool, then of course that's going to make sense. But at the beginning, do you have that $1,000? Is that part of how you financed everything? Did you get that in your SBA loan? Just things to think about in your, I hope that was not just too much information.
That's great. I mean, yeah. Do you use social media in your business?
Yes. Yeah. We use Instagram. We use Facebook. It can be touchy using children's pictures in online, especially. So you have to get approval beforehand by those parents. And then also just being courteous of like making sure you're posting things about your like the different events. So we just celebrated Holly at the preschool, so we highlighted that. And then also including your events on your Google My Business page. That's a big thing, and Google really loves that as far as your SEO. And so if you're saying, hey, I'm putting this event, here's all the pictures, parents love that too. Prospective parents love seeing, oh, they have all these different kinds of events.
Going along with that, do you have to use a photo release form for
Yes.
signed by student?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's part, and so that can be part of your enrollment packet, right? So your enrollment packet's going to have everything from licensing that's going to say, hey, here's your blood lead test form. Here's, I mean, it's a big stack. And then on top of that, you can say, okay, here's another form that says, are we allowed to use your child's picture on social media or our website, things like that.
Yeah, very important. Are you on www.care.com?
So we are not on care.com. We were on care.com for a little bit. They originally started as a babysitting company and a babysitting marketplace. So that's how they originally had started. They just recently moved in, I think about 1.5 to 2 years ago, towards filling spots for childcare centers. And this was a big move by a lot of different people. Winnie did this, and a couple other providers that are trying to create a marketplace for filling empty spots in classrooms so that you're maxing out that classroom every single day. During COVID, that was the big push because so many businesses had open classrooms, but no kids to be in there. And so they reached out then. We had originally signed up, but we didn't get that many hits. And when I went through the process of trying, because what they originally had branded themselves at is two-pronged. If you were looking for a big preschool operator, talking about the kinder cares of the world, then this was geared towards smaller mom and pop shops, which was appealing to us. But if you went through the process and they would sell your data, the data of a prospective parent, if you didn't go all the way through and say, hey, I want that preschool, if you just went like say 75% of the way through, similar to retargeting, if you buy something on Amazon and you put it in your cart, but you don't buy it, you all of a sudden start seeing baby formula, baby diapers all over everything. They took that data and they sold it to the kinder cares. And so it went from, oh, I have this lead, I'm a mom and pop shop, to, oh, they're actually using all this data and they're giving it to all the other big players and it's not actually helping us. So that's the decision that they made. And so we got off of it.
Thank you. What is the minimum qualification to apply for a job in your preschool, and do you provide training?
For sure, yeah. So we provide a lot of training. We really pride ourselves on being able to train people that, especially if they don't have any experience. We do provide education assistance for the 12 units. If you want to be a fully qualified teacher, you have to have 12 ECE units. Which is 4 classes, but you can still work in the preschool with 0 units. It just, you wouldn't be counted fully in ratio. And then there's only some classes that you'd be able to have the full ratio. So that would be in like the younger classes, the infant, the toddler. But we provide education assistance and help pay for people if they're just getting their first 12 units and want to start a career in childcare. So we help people do that as well.
Amazing. Do you feature your teachers on social media, and are you hiring?
We are hiring, but we include pictures of our teachers on social media, but we don't highlight them per se. But I think that's a good idea. We probably could do that. Probably should.
Yeah. What would you suggest to new Miramar College child development students who are looking for a job?
We're looking for a job. Yeah. So I would say, really, are you, what are you looking for in wherever you're going to be? I always say, no matter what job, what industry, wherever you're going, wherever you're going to go, you should always be learning. As soon as you're not learning something, then maybe it's time to go and try something else. So I would put that question back on you. What kind of program do you want to be in? Do you want to be in more of a Montessori geared program? Do you want to be in something that's going to be more play based, or something that's going to be something in the middle, or something else? What kind of style do you like to look? Do you want to create your own lessons plans? Do you want to be involved in that side of the process? We always try to pair new teachers with an experienced teacher so that they really don't ever feel like they're on their own, and that they're always with somebody else that really knows exactly what they're doing. And we've been lucky enough to have amazing teachers that have been with us for 6, 8, 10 plus years. Some of the teachers that we've had have seen me since I was like 6 years old. And so, we always try to pair prospective teachers with people that are more experienced. But yeah, if whatever you want to do, whatever you want to learn, whatever kind of style fits what you think your approach best is to early childhood education, I think you should pursue that.
Do you offer mentorship?
Oh yeah. No, we definitely do. We provide mentorship for teachers. And so yeah.
What resources are you using to hire teachers?
Yeah, so we use Indeed. We were looking at, we have once a week, we always have a hiring meeting, and we hired an HR person exclusively to handle and be able to keep our schools fully staffed. So the big thing that we used is Indeed. I know that there's like We Need Jobs that they started, a bunch of these different marketplaces for providing childcare. They all started having job marketplaces as well. We've had mixed results. Indeed's probably the best thing that we've seen. We also have a LinkedIn, but again, that hasn't been the fastest. We joined Handshake here as well, so we are active on Handshake as well. So yeah.
Do you offer intern opportunities, internships?
Internships. So we don't call anything in internship. If you wanted to, I know that you have to have in-classroom experience as one of your classes when you graduate with an ECE degree. So if you wanted to do that, we're more than happy to partner you with teachers at our schools to do that. But if you wanted to do like a 3-month tryout, that's not typically how we look at it. But we bring entry-level people in all the time.
One student said, how can I sign up for your program?
How can you sign up for the program? Go to kidscareclub.com/careers. It was the last slide of the presentation. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
kidscareclub.com/contact us/careers, or just kidscareclub.com. You can take a look around. If you want to start your own preschool and you want to, I would say look around at all the websites. A lot of the ideas that we took were from the big nationwide brands that have marketing budgets that are millions of dollars, and I thought they had really great ideas, so we took them. So take them.
I hope you say yes to this one too. Would you be open to mentor prospective child care center entrepreneurs?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Ah,
definitely.
okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, my contact information is there. If anyone ever wants to talk about a prospective thing or a prospective idea, hey, even if it's not a preschool, if it's something else, if you want to do, something else in the childcare sphere, I'm more than happy to talk about any of it.
Yeah, and we're hoping to open up a mentorship program within the EEE, and so hopefully Mr. Conner can join us in that mentorship
That would be
program
epic.
as well. I like this one too. What is your philosophy at Kids Care?
Yeah, so we kind of mix everything. So, I mean, at the very beginning, we called it 21st century Montessori play-based. But of course, we're in the 21st century now. And so, I mean, Montessori and play-based, I mean, we think that having education is hugely important. I mean, we used to send packets to to the families that were graduating, because kids would know so much and they'd go to kindergarten and then they would be acting out in class. And they go, well, this never happened when they were at Kids Care Club. And that was because they were learning things in kindergarten that they had already known. But that's because we have amazing teachers, but also because we incorporate play into it as well. I think it's really important. And there was a study that came out that was, it maybe came out a year and a half ago, something like that, but it was talking about how important play is into a child's education, especially early. It's not a classroom. You don't need a 2-year-old to sit down, crisscross applesauce for hours at a time to be able to understand the basics of the alphabet. I think that play is incredibly important, and being able to keep that levity, but also focus and learn is super important. So we like to have a very balanced approach.
Yes, we believe in that as well. So great philosophy there. Any other questions for Conner? There's a lot of questions.
That was great questions.
Yes.
I really liked it.
Yes. Any more questions?
I have a question, but
Carla, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question, but it's really late for me and it's been a long day and I forgot the proper term for it. But I was wondering if you have, people who give you seed money or inject money into your business, and how do you have that, and how do you come about it?
So I think the question is, how do you come up with that first batch of money that you're going to be able to use to pay for everything? Seed money, no, that's not something that we've used before. I think that is more probably geared towards like the tech industry. But there is a lot of financing available, right? So there's the SBA loans, the SBA program. If you go meet with just the place where you normally go and bank, they'll be able to tell you how much they'd be able to give you. And that really starts off with where your model is and how your financial numbers are going to be worked out. If you say, hey, if I'm starting out a preschool and it's going to have 60 kids, and here's the amount of teachers and here's all my costs, and you can sit there as they go through your numbers and say, this is the expected cost, then you stand by those numbers, and they're going to ask tons of questions. They're going to try and poke holes in it. But a banker is going to be able to process your loan application for SBA financing. And that's the Small Business Administration. And that's specifically geared towards getting people to start businesses. And so, they're going to be a lot easier to get. There's still requirements, but they're also going to be lower costs. So I know that one of the loans that we looked at recently was like a 10% down loan. And then that was financing for the next 20 years. Another one was 25% down, and that was for the next 10 years. Really exploring your financing, I would say that if you give up equity, you're giving up, I don't know. I can't speak to that because I haven't had that kind of conversation before. But if you talk to a banker, then they should be able to talk to you about the financing. If you want to go through the SBA, put you in the contact with the right people. And then they'll give you all the requirements that would be needed.
What about the red tape / city permits / inspections? Any suggestions?
For sure. So having an understanding of all of those things prior to touring a space that you're going to put in a school or put in whatever's going to be there. So obviously there's stringent requirements around how much space is going to be needed inside for each classroom, and how much is going to be needed for the outside. But I wouldn't let those requirements become kind of like shackle you. So if you have, so say for you a playground space, if like you're looking around San Diego County, I mean, this is kind of city planning and overall. If you look at San Diego, it's kind of constrained in each direction, and San Diego's kind of gone out. So there's not that much land, raw land anymore for you to like be able to buy and build a school. But if you go to an old building or another building and being able to have a playground outside, say that playground only has enough space for 20 kids, 25 kids at a time, but you have a school that's going to be 75 kids, then you can go to the city or go to your analyst and say, hey, I just need a waiver that says, here's my schedule for outdoor time, and now my indoor requirements are fulfilled. But by scheduling how many kids are going to be outside at a time, I'm never breaking what that limit would be. Also, if you're going into a building, really understanding what wall is movable and what wall is not is going to be important too, and where the plumbing is going, so that you can say, okay, right now my budget is $100,000 for building out what this preschool is going to be. There's going to be this much cost associated with expanding the walls or here so that I can fit classrooms in these areas. And then this part's going to be an admin area. And this is how I'm going to get the bathrooms to each of them. And then that all fits within your budget. So going into a space and not seeing the way it's laid out right in that moment, and being more concerned about what's going to be movable for you so that you can make it work for what you're going to be doing.
The next one, do you have investors?
We do not have investors. So we had, I mean, my parents started back in 1994 when everything was a lot cheaper. So it was, easier for them to probably get that financing. But no, at this time we don't have investors, but SBA loans, very, 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 very helpful. And yeah.
And could you just cater to just one age group?
Yes. Yes. So there's a huge, huge, huge demand for toddler and infant care. But then you look at the ratios of what is in those, and it's going to be it'll be 4 kids to 1 teacher in an infant room, and then 6 to 1 in a toddler room. And so you just have to build your business model around that. You can also, I know other preschools don't offer infant care. So they just start at the toddler or the 3-year-old range, and then they go up to 5th or to 5 years old, or some of them even include kindergarten programs. So of course, yeah, you can cater to whichever age. I've also seen business models that are more geared towards just after school programs, and then being able to work in concert with the school day as well.
Awesome. Last question, since it is almost 7:30. Do you invest in other businesses?
Potentially.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done that before, but I mean, potentially. More than happy to talk.
I have a question. Do you franchise?
We don't franchise out, but maybe, fingers crossed, we'll be able to open up another preschool.
That would be amazing. So it is about 7:30 right now. So thank you so much to Conner for coming in and in the rain, well, kind of in the rain. So I'm going to put in the chat again the survey. Please make sure you fill that out if you're here for the certificate for professional development. Hopefully we'll have Conner back again for his you guys are questions, and he answers them so thoroughly that I'm sure that we got a lot of information for that. And thank you so much, Conner, for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much. Make sure you do that survey. Thank you so much for coming in. And
thank you for the great questions.
Yes, thank you so much.